Let's do it! Is everybody ready to watch Oklahoma?
Oh my god!
Oh, Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. And the wind, I forget the rest, sorry. Never mind. Stream's over, bye.
I don't... Listen, I watched Oklahoma in college. I vaguely remember what happened in the story.
I've been honestly obsessed with it. I kind of prepared by watching Oklahoma. But I kind of love it. But it's just like a total white people problems story, and it's amazing.
I want to hear it.
But there's so many like weird things, like the villain in it. He's basically just an incel.
Yeah.
just-
Yeah,
Wasn't
yeah.
he just a big guy living in the shed outside
Yeah,
or something?
he's just like, I'm tired of looking at women in pictures. I want a real girl. I'm tired of
I'm
jerking
tired of this,
off."
Grandpa. That's too damn bad.
And there's a whole song about how they dream up his funeral. It's fucked up.
Oh my god.
And then there's like a whole dream sequence where, because every musical back then had to have a dream ballet. Welcome, Gucci, by the way. Hi. Welcome to the Digital Dojo. I'll get to my formal introduction in a second. I gotta spout off about Oklahoma. Oh my god, Captain Ice, our local madman, is here. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Wowee.
There's a dream ballet in Oklahoma. And it comes about because she, like, takes a quote-unquote potion from, like, the peddler, you know? Because, like, back in the early 1900s, you got snake oil salesmen selling you all sorts of trinkets. And so she has this trippy dream sequence where she thinks she gets captured by Judd Fry, the guy who lives in the smokehouse that I was talking about. She has a dream where she gets captured by that guy, and, like, she's forced to marry him, and then he, like, runs a whorehouse. And, like, she's
Slay.
like... It's, like, all about that. And just, like, how she's like, I am gonna fall into the pit, and this guy is gonna just run a whorehouse, and my life is in the whorehouse now. And it's a nightmare. Like, totally unexpected, totally out of left field subtext from this happy, family-friendly Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. But, you know, theater is always ahead of the curve, and I guess, you know, that's what leads us to now on Cinephilosophy at the Digital Dojo. Welcome! Where we challenge, meditate, and cooperate on the video games and other such medias, and today, it's movies. And I'm gonna go down the line. Yeah, what?
I was going to say, I can't remember what my professor was, like, talking about when we all watched the Oklahoma film.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. It was, like, white people problems or something, like you said.
It definitely is.
I could have sworn that, No. I think I'm mistaken thinking that.
Well, I don't know. I just watched it recently. You can lay it on me.
Listen, as I posted in the chat, I'm done being racist. Something racial tensions of the time. I can't remember what we talked about in college.
I mean, they kind of erased the indigenous storyline, basically, from like the.
That was probably it. That was probably
because
what I'm
like they're
thinking of.
basically in what was called at the time Indian territory, right? Before it became Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
there's not a one indigenous person in the whole film, unless like some of those characters are based on that, but like you don't see it. They're all white.
Right.
But it is a fascinating, like, a lot of people think it's boring, but like there's some stuff like I was saying, like, it just comes out of left field. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And like some of the female leads in that are like, damn girl, you like, Aunt Eller can get it. Like, she broke up a fight with farmers and ranchers with a fucking gun. Like, 50-year-old, at the time, senile, because health was not so good back then, Aunt Eller, with her wits about her, just like clearing a crowd with a revolver, like, holy shit, man. Telling us to get along with all our differences. Fuck, man.
Oh,
You got my vote.
a little off topic.
Yeah.
I wrote a love letter with a pen that says "fuck you" on it.
Oh.
I
Well,
wouldn't
that's
call it a
kinda like
love letter.
Oklahoma, to
More
be
of a
honest.
invitation to hang out.
Oh, okay. That's
Okay.
very different. That's very different.
Anyways, I'm Satil Seldon.
But
channel
anyways,
Digital
Grease.
Dojo. Yeah, Grease. And go ahead, y'all. Go ahead and introduce yourselves after that extended cold open. Starting with Madman. Go for it.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, it's me, Madman. I run a YouTube channel called The Local Madman. In it, you can find parody dubs of such things like Yu-Gi-Oh! And My Little Pony, as well as pro wrestling. Pro wrestling isn't a parody dub, it's just, New Legacy Inc. type, universe mode shenanigans. We watch AI fight each other and tell stories about it. And also I stream in the Twitch thing where you can find it, where it says Captain Ice or Local Madman, because the name Local Madman was taken or something. They wouldn't let me have my name.
I feel the passion emanating from you, like when you stand next to concrete that's really hot. I can feel it.
But for our current schedule this week, I'm very elaborate, but very frantic, all over the place. But I know tomorrow I'll be doing some Peak with the homies at sometime in the evening.
That's exciting.
And wrestling this Monday.
Oh,
in the
Peak is
evening.
very fun.
That
I
is
hope
so
you have a
much
good
fun.
time.
Oh, I hope so.
All right. And when you say AI, I just want to clear it up. It's the AI in the game, not generative AI.
The AI in the game, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah,
Computer
yeah.
CPU versus CPU controlled wrestlers. Yeah.
Computer, show me these guys' balls.
Show me celery, man.
Oh.
I mean, the most of AI generation we've done is when I said, it'd be really funny if Tiny Tim sang Written in the Stars or something. And but
what's
it
crazy, though,
doesn't
about that?
relate too much to the channel.
Is that
Yeah.
Beansy had a playlist on the other day and he was like, this is good. Oh, thank you for the follow. And he had a playlist on and I was like, oh, this is cool. There's like a Sega remix. And he's like, he looks at the description, he's like, oh shit, it's like AI. We're like, oh shit, that actually sounded good, but like, fuck that, because like, stealing our fuel, water, and intellectual property is not good.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of crazy how like, now on YouTube, it's just algorithmically like recommending shit like that,
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of using AI,
Me
generative AI for that kind of stuff.
No, I'm totally
Like,
anti against it, and like everyone at my job is totally like into it, and I'm just like, you guys, goodbye. I'm glad like I'm in my own position, and I don't have like anyone like under or above me. I'm just like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. You guys fuck around with AI. Good luck.
Yeah.
It's fun, but I don't want to be annoying with it, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like overindulgence on
I just think
generative
it's just bad
stuff.
It's bad for the planet. It's bad for critical thinking.
Yeah,
And
that too.
there's just everything points to this is not the way you want to live life. Yeah. I hate how overused
That's
it is.
valid.
Absolutely. There's so many reasons. But you know what? They're trying to sell us I saw this post on Blue Sky. Someone was saying they're trying to sell you a sick goose that lays golden eggs, but it's not actually. Something like that.
Yeah.
I reposted it. I put it in my notes too, because I was like, damn, that's strong. Let me get the actual quote. But Mandy, go for it. And I go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello. I am Mandy Quinn, mall mannequin, an illustrator, animator, professional goober, and your cyber liaison to the digital mall. And I'm just a little guy with really cool friends. And I am super excited to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The quote I found was, if AI was as valuable as they say it is, they wouldn't be selling it to you. They would be using it themselves in secret to make the next Minecraft, the next Avatar, the next Hello Kitty, and then they'd sell that to you. They're trying to sell you a sick goose while pretending it lays golden eggs.
Look. Snap, 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 snap.
Yeah. Me and the Smoky Beat Poetry Club right now.
Honestly. I mean, this is something that, if we want to go down the rabbit hole,
Yeah.
I had a conversation about AI at work because I am an artist professionally, and the conversation wasn't so much about us using generative AI so much as it was because I work in games, and so there's a lot of different disciplines, a lot of different things. You have anything from people writing detailed code, you have people doing math, like complex math models, pay tables of like, you know, probability. It goes so much farther than just like art. And so the conversation in a broad way from management was, what kinds of tools are you guys using, if you're using any already, and what kind of function do you think they serve? You know, because there are other studios that are already doing this kind of thing. There are other studios that are implementing tools, not necessarily by like mandatorily, or however you want to say that. But it's not required, but there are already like things in motion. But even though I understood that it wasn't a, hey, artists, generate your images, you know, because my whole job is an illustrator. That's all I really do. But being in the meeting, like it was a physical meeting in front of my colleagues, I just could feel myself being overwhelmed, not by the questions that were being asked. I think it was a very respectful meeting. I think it was done as well as it could have been. But I felt overwhelmed by seeing a future on the horizon suddenly appear in front of me, like at my feet, brought into my workplace in a situation where I might be requested to use AI tools when I could have just like avoided using them when I don't really need them. And at the very worst case, using generative AI as a part of a workflow that I just don't want to implement that workflow. And so as time passes, I feel myself getting more and more overwhelmed, and to the point where then I had to ask myself to be excused so that I wouldn't like cry in the meeting. But when requesting to leave, I ended up bursting into tears, like physically in front of a room full of people, which is not, this wasn't in a way that like they didn't organize this to like shame us and make us feel pressured. Like it happened to be in an in-person meeting. But
it's really, it's scary.
So I feel, even though I was emotional, I tend to really try to articulate myself as best as possible, because I already kind of imagined the argument from the other side, and how people seeing me like crying and kind of vulnerable would immediately assume, she just thinks she's going to be losing her job tomorrow. But that's not what we're saying, you silly little mannequin. No way did I think that I would be losing my job, you know, the next day or even anytime soon, like, or at all. But it was me like imagining, or rather picturing, the job listings I'm seeing that would have been entry-level art positions that just say AI generalist. And even though my company isn't requesting that I use generative AI, they're not requesting that I compromise my integrity, they're not requesting that I replace parts of my workflow with AI tools. It's more so like, you know, our sound department, we have a couple sound engineers, and they use like an AI audio splitter if they don't have access to the raw files of an audio track from like 20 years ago. You know, that's a useful tool to have, you know, and that's something that benefits them in a way that's not replacing the work they're doing by creating music and implementing it into a game, you know, and sound effects and all such, so forth and whatever, you know. So and like, you know, people that are writing code are using AI more so as like the rubber duck kind of thing that IT folks, where they have like a rubber duck and they're like talking back and forth with themselves to like problem solve. Some of our technical artists have been using like ChatGPT to like ask for alternative like perspective when they might not have a colleague to do so. And that's an interesting use of it. You know, that's not something that I would have ever thought of or needed. And so like that's the broader conversation that really doesn't really impact me. And so all that to say, I ended up having a good conversation with management after you know, like the next week, and I was in a better place to articulate. Like my emotion was not coming from a fear that my job is at stake, not a fear that I'll be replaced. It is a fear of, if we justify implementing it in little bits for the art department now, how slippery is this slope where the people that aren't amongst us, the people that work like way above us, that don't know that they don't know our names, they don't know who we are, but from the top down, they see, oh, it took the art department this much time to make these assets, but I know that you can just type in a prompt and make a thing. I've seen it on Facebook. I've seen it in whatever. Another studio's doing that.
Because
why is
problem,
it taking our...
If I could interrupt, the problem ends up being like, you start implementing it bit by bit, and then that chips away at like each department's autonomy, and then like, their worth and their critical decisions that they do to make it like a success, like visually, auditorily, like whatever. Those are like physical decisions you can't just like dream up in an AI. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're orchestrated in a specific way.
Yeah. It was just one of those things where I really, it was very important for me to tell them that I understood my position wasn't being jeopardized by the implementation of like AI tools that aren't generative and they don't have anything to do with me. And I understood that the conversation wasn't about that.
Right.
However, the conversation being brought in a workplace setting was enough to bring upon that imagination of a future where my role is chipped away at bit by bit until like how far does it go before someone says, well, do we really need this many illustrators?
How far do you do it till it diminishes a person's worth?
And so in this meeting, you know, of course, back in that meeting, you know, I was able to vocalize like in the room of people with my fellow artists. There aren't very many of us in there, but I said like, this is all I've got, y'all. My education, my degree is in illustration. And everything that I have like developed skill around, it's like a tree of skills. So I have soft skills, I have hard skills, all of the things that I've ever done since high school onward. Into a professional adult life.
It affects everything.
It's been built upon the framework of me providing literally this. And so if we get to a point where parts of what I'm offering as a professional, as an artist, as someone that has experience in 3 to 4 different fields that all can contribute things to the right now and the right here, how much of my voice are we willing to remove? And if implementing AI, whether it's generative or not, is meant to make our pipeline more efficient, how much more efficient do you want me to be? There are examples of time where I have been so fast to create the work from scratch that I've had to wait over a week for my management to respond to it. So how much faster do you want me to be where I'm not just sitting there? It's really, and I told this personally to my manager the next week, like, I would much rather invest in our communication and our framework of how we get feedback on things, who is giving this feedback, like, which we've been doing. That's what we've been up to. Just you always like as a workplace, you guys kind of always work to find better solutions to do all the things that you've done, and I think like investing in that skill set and making sure that our team runs more smoothly is way more important to the art team than finding AI tools to implement, whether it's just for, making something more efficient, like, I don't know, like exporting a bunch of files, if we have to. Like, it's just one of those things that's frustrating because the only thing I offer is illustration and everything that goes into making what they're asking of me. And the only time that inefficiency hits us is when the people above us don't even know what to ask for.
Yeah.
So then
100%.
The people above them, who are even further removed from the creative process, are looking at it like, oh, well, I don't know anything about drawing. I don't know anything about our art department. I've never even talked to these people, but I know that my little Jonathan at home, put into Chat GPT and made me a whole he made me a whole Father's Day thing of me on the head of like a football player. Like he didn't even need anything for that. Like the more that it's integrated into life and the less understanding people have about it, the easier it is for them to justify excusing an already an industry that's already taken for granted. And today, Satil, you'll enjoy this. I enjoy is a sarcastic term of phrase, but
yeah,
while I
before
was
you
getting
continue,
yes,
I just do want to say, yeah, Celador is right. It's about communication. It's about context. It's about coordination. Like my 3 tenets, like the way I got hired for my job, right? I got the 3 C's. I'm like coordination, collaboration, communication. Those are my 3.
Power. It's about drive.
That is it. And like, you know, and so like, yeah, it's 100% like communication drives everything. Anyways.
Yeah. Today, while I was getting my hair cut, this is the last thing I'll say. While I was getting my hair cut, I didn't get anything other than this like snippet of a conversation from the woman next to me. But she said, if musicians can use AI to make music, then I think we should be making movies with AI. And I literally, that's all I heard. And I had to shut the fuck up so fast and stay in my lane so hard from this woman next to me just trying to get her hair done. And the woman that's doing my hair, we were actually talking about music because I was talking about like, you know, just something that I've done recently, and that
is 100% a conversation you would hear in a salon, like 100%.
Just out of if musicians can make music with AI, and I had just been talking about like a musician that is like revered in the field and like respected incredibly, and I'm like, how can you like? It's like at brain rot territory, but like, how can you still idolize celebrity and idolize whether it's musicians or TV hosts, and then immediately turn around and be like, well, why don't they just do it all with AI? It's like, well, why do you even like these people in the first place? It's their individual voice, it's their skill, it's their experiences. You are receiving the culmination of like not only their experience, but everyone that's ever worked with them and everyone that they've ever been inspired by and paid homage to by learning from, filtering through, and providing their own interpretation of that work. And that's hundreds of years of experience amongst all the people that could ever have boiled into this one person that you just happen to. It brings to mind The Devil Wears Prada, when fucking
which thanks for introducing that to me, by the way. We watched that.
Yeah, The Devil Wears Prada is such a good movie, and Anne Hathaway's character is this wannabe like reporter that works for it. She gets a job at a fashion magazine, and Meryl Streep is the editor-in-chief of this fashion magazine, and she's picking out these different belts in various shades of blue and cerulean and whatever. And Anne Hathaway's character gives a little laugh when they make a comment that the belts are so different, or the blouses are so different, whatever it was. And Meryl Streep delivers this awesome, biting, like little shut the fuck up monologue to Anne Hathaway, saying, you think you're unique? You think that you're immune from the influence of art? She's like, this color leads back to these 3 artists from these shows who were inspired by these artists, like, and then all of this is filtered down, boiled down into appealing, marketable clothing and sold to you. So what you think is non-fashion, basic clothing is actually a reduced, jus for like culinary terms. It's just a reduced sauce of all of these things that are actually high fashion. And what you're wearing now is not immune to being part of this larger business that you're laughing at. Yeah. And so it's like, it just calls to mind, like, it's like, Zhu mentioned everybody. Shout out everybody to French Dip, everyone. Anyway, so I thought that was interesting that she's like, we just
Tri-tip
make
au
movies
jus,
with
baby.
AI.
Oh yeah.
It's like they have made some movies with AI and they all suck butt. They
So
slurp
in
noodle
my
butt.
industry, education currently, where I'm responsible for like the lecture capture stuff and like the video stuff, where it's just like I'm trying to help like these faculty who are already like super stretched thin, and their students are super stretched thin. There's like no room to innovate. They're like, well, we're on a platform, and there's also like an AI thing they're developing now, so maybe we should go for that. And I'm like, guys, really? Like, what?
Yeah, no.
Like, I am here to like help people design from step one. People who have no knowledge of video stuff, right? We're not even talking about the video. I'm talking about like outlining and like all the pre-production stuff and the scripting and all that stuff before you can get to sitting in an editing bay,
Yeah.
right? You're gonna tell me you're gonna sell these teachers who value their intellectual property and go around and teach all these other people? I mean, you know, maybe it's just because education is so industrial already, like maybe it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, if you are a true and tried instructor and you care about the methods with which you teach, right? You are not going to sell your intellectual property in any way, shape, or form to something that's just going to generate stuff from your thoughts. And
Right.
like, and how does that reflect on you? Your representation of you, right?
Yeah.
you just
absolutely.
shipped it off to someone like without a second thought, and you didn't feel like this needed more like more jus, more you know, it more nuance and all this stuff that you know you can use in the classroom, and you're just gonna boil it down to like, oh well, fuck it, let's just make an AI video. Let the thing that has no context of whatever I'm talking about make it for me, because it obviously can explain better than me, is the perception. No,
Yeah.
you're totally devaluing yourself as the art of the instructor. You know what I mean? It's just like the horrible idea. Horrible.
Yeah.
But I have to sit there and be like, okay, well, you guys use AI in that context, but do not touch my video shit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, that's where I stand.
So,
Yeah. I think that's the end of the AI conversation. Let's see what else somebody said in the chat.
I'd like to apologize for starting the conversation.
Oh, no.
by
I wanted to
indirectly-
have the conversation. Yeah. No,
But yeah.
you're good.
AI, not good. I almost said not bad for a second, but I'd like to think it as that one meme from VeggieTales, the Weed Eater meme, where it's just gonna randomly generated like stuff
Yeah.
to the point
Mhm.
that in a few years we're all just gonna be dull or something.
It totally...
Need,
It totally
need to
is that.
live a little.
And it is also censorship as part of that intellectual property kind of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, guys,
So anyway, Greece. Let's talk about Greece.
Greece is about the spirit of freedom.
Are we still on introductions?
No. We're talking
yeah.
about Greece now. Greece,
Yeah, we're talking about
as
Greece.
opposed to AI, frees you from the shackles of society.
Let me tell you about my years in high school.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say we got a Greece veteran.
Junior year, spring musical of the year, Grease, and I was in it as a featured dancer. I was in Grease Lightning, along with everyone else who applied to be a featured dancer. I was there.
A Grease. You were a greaser.
I was a greaser. That's what they labeled me as. You're a greaser that's not a part of the main guys. I was like I was like taller than anyone in the entire show.
That's awesome.
And that was like, I had done like all of the shows during my high school year. But in the middle of the fall, we're like, hey, Grease, that's coming up as a spring musical. Let's all go to this one place. We're gonna watch the Grease movie, and I think that was my first experience with watching Grease.
Oh my god. Mandy,
Again,
what
that was
about
like-
you? You got any Grease experiences to share with us? Have you watched this film?
Over
I've
10 years
watched-
ago.
I watched this film. I've seen it a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I had Footloose in high school. I did. I wasn't in Footloose, but I made signage for it because I did some
Nice.
some theater like construction
Technical theater stuff?
and
Yeah.
just mostly the art side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made signage that could be flipped to become other signage. So if they were like in a different part of the town, they
Yeah.
could just turn it around and be like, oh, new sign. Who this?
That's so fun.
But that's it. That's pretty much
Stagecraft, yeah.
stagecraft, witchcraft.
That's cool.
I think I may have been like one of the people during Grease Lightning to actually push the car, but I can't remember if we actually went through like having the car be in neutral and just pushing it on stage, or having the car be on these like roller like little skates on 4 wheels. And then have one person just push it on stage.
Yeah. Set design is awesome.
Ah.
I loved Stagecraft too. I did that a few years back. Just 2 or 3 years ago when I went back to community college for theater. And yeah, but Grease for me, like, I'm pretty sure I've seen the whole film. But the thing is my sister would watch it like over and over and over again. So like I would come in at like different parts. And so like I'm pretty sure I've seen the full film, I've seen the ending, but like I've never seen it like start to finish sitting down. But what I do know about it is, as opposed to AI, this is how it ties in. It will imbue you with the teenage American spirit, free roaming away from the harsh looks of the administrators and authorities, and etc. And, you know, it comes out of that. It's just a celebration of the teenage spirit from that time of the late 50s, early 60s. And it's such a fun show. I want to see the stage version at some point. I never have. I know there's some differences in it, but the movie's so popular. It was so popular in our house, along with stuff like Sound of Music. And the other big one my sister watched was Titanic. Not a musical, but I don't know.
I'm not sure if I
She was
should
obsessed
spoil
with
Grease
that
then.
Well, we're gonna watch it.
I remember
together.
the differences between the movie and the stage play.
Yeah, costume.
Or at least the stage play we
Yeah, I
did.
want to do costume. Oh my god. Was there a Titanic musical? I don't know if there was a Titanic musical. I feel like there should be though. But man, yeah, I love theater. I would love to get back into it for costuming. I want to make my own clothes. I found some cool patterns lately. I got for my birthday. From Kohl's of all places. They were selling some pretty cool shirts, and like I'm using that as my inspiration, being like, I need to figure out a way to like make more of the things I want to see myself in. And I feel like Grease is also kind of about that, because it's kind of about like, who are you? What's your identity? Do you identify with, you know, are you a pink lady? Are you a greaser? Are you a soci? Are you a whatever? And like, it's all about, you know, breaking free from that and being like, fuck that, I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in the end,
No,
I mean, I think they
yeah.
all become greasers at the end, so.
Yeah, they all become greasers at the end.
But that is imbued with the spirit of freedom, right? So, anyways, without further ado, I think we should get this show on the road. And let's have some fun.
Freedom,
with
conformality.
Grease.
Potato,
Grease 2 is
potato.
underrated. I gotta see it after this, I guess. Go ahead and turn that off, and then let me go ahead and switch the window from
No,
Discord.
the music. I was listening to that.
Yeah, but we're gonna be listening to other music.
We're listening? I thought we were watching.
We're watching
You
and
lied to me.
listening. You have to use both your ears and your eyes. This is the era of sound, synchronized sound movies. Old man.
Watching, washing, watching me, watching.
Watching you, sweet Carol.
Songs that are not in Greece. Let's get them out in the open here.
Something
all right?
about that or something so such.
All right.
Bye, birdie.
Bye, Miss America. Oh, also not right. Okay.
Yeah. Well.
My, the Cyrannican guy. Maybe Vader someday later.
All right.
He's
I'm gonna
just
go
a
ahead and
small
start
fry.
it, and then we're gonna go ahead and do start up. Camera turn.